want to influence someone's actions in detail, you need to know exactly what the impulses that cause them look like. Here, the sensors are picking up and displaying some of the millions of signals generated in a volunteer's brain when he thinks about a movement. An American corporation is using similar research to go a step further. In a world first, they have inserted a chip into a human brain to pick up signals from carefully selected areas. The BrainGate system will allow disabled people to control a computer with the power of thought alone. A sensor smaller than a contact lens is inserted into the motor center of the brain. The sensor picks up electrical signals and sends them to a computer that processes the data. The effect is remarkable. The patient moves a cursor across the screen by thought alone. He can use it to control all the machines around him. Matthew Nagel is the first quadriplegic patient to receive the implant.
Going to open the first email, which says congrats. It says you are doing a great job. Next, I'm going to open the second email, which states, hi there. It says, hi, we'll talk soon. Now I'm going to the exit. Next, I'm going to paint a circle. That's the best circle I can do. Now I'm going to exit. Next, I'm going to turn on my television. I'm going to hit power button to turn the television on. The television is on. I'm going to channel down. There's channel down. Now I'm going to channel up.
Matthew's chip processes 10 million bits of data per second. Abe Kaplan is one of the system's programmers.
So here we have all the neural signals that are being recorded from the sensor in the brain. Each box represents the neural activity that's being recorded from one of the electrodes on the tip of the array. So we have 96 recording electrodes on the sensor, and here we're seeing the signal coming from each one.
So
Professor John Donahue and his team have worked for 10 years to get this far.
Cut as and when we saw, but you know, we just chose left, right, but it could have been up, down.
And neurons, anything as clear as that, really?
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
And Donahue has high ambitions for the future.
Different type of phone gene for each.
Once we understand those control parameters, the idea is not just to be able to plug into a computer, but to reconstitute the body. And the idea is that in a paralyzed individual, their muscles are there, they just can't contract them. So you can imagine a system that takes these signals and physically brings them down to the paralyzed muscles and then connects to a stimulator that underneath the skin and embedded in the muscles will stimulate the muscles and get the arm to move. And the goal would be someday, and I think this is a realizable goal, is that a person would be sitting here and pointing and moving around with their hand and say, oh, by the way, you know, I had a spinal cord injury, the nerves were cut, and I'm repaired, but you can't tell. And that would be a success. We would be very happy to see that you couldn't tell whether they had a physical nervous system or a biological nervous system. But, you know, that's a very ambitious goal. It's going to take quite a long time to do that.
The BrainGate system is good at doing one thing at a time. The current implant can't manage a complex movement like this. But it can tell an artificial hand to grip an object.
Now close it.
Now close. Eyes open. Close.
Some fear that interpreting brain patterns that lead to a movement means we're on the way to reading people's thoughts.
The pin a circle.
But Professor Donahue believes that's still a long way off.
In terms of the ethical implications of brain gate, we're sensing your intention to move, and we're sensing a little snippet, a tiny piece of the brain's own very elaborate process to produce what, the action you want to produce. There are those that may have some concerns about reading out the brain, but really our thoughts are the result of the interaction of a huge amount of the brain, and we have only the crudest way to read out, all these interactions. So I think these strong concerns that very few people have expressed about, reading out too much about your thoughts is really not a big concern. But I think it's important to keep it in the public dialogue so that people are aware and educated about what this technology does, what it promises, and what it can't do. It can't read your mind about what you're going to do tomorrow or your deepest thoughts.